Adai obviously had a tremendous game the other night. When you see somebody do something like that, does it change the calculus of like going forward as far as like, hey, I got to play him no matter what the matchups may seem to dictate?
Well, Will had a great game against Iowa. 6 for 7. You know, I think it just gives you more options. What it does is, you know, you'd be able to reinforce to Adai what you're capable of. You know, that we won 2 games. We got production from 2 guys that I was saying we got to coach them better, and we got to get them to play up to their capability. You know, same with Dylan and Sky. They played 2 good games. We win 2 games. So, yeah, I think, you know, it would be great if Adai would average 22 the rest of the year. To be, you know.
Yeah.
But I also think, you know, look, that just happens. I mean, I can give you 8 million examples of you and I over the last 5.5 years. Every time a guy has a good game, you ask me that question. I knew it was coming. I knew it was first question. I should have bet you on it. I wrote down Ben's first question.
Okay.
If I was right, I got a bottle of Pinot.
There you go. Put it in an
I'm going to do that
like
next
Karnak,
time I know it's coming.
Karnak,
Yeah.
What about either whether it's Will or Adai playing those guys more with combinations with Eric and or Tyler?
Well, again, some teams play 4 guards, which makes it really hard. But what we have been working on since Will's been back, that you saw in the Iowa game, is Will guarding the perimeter, Tyler guarding the bigger guy, because Will's faster on the perimeter. So we can do that. Tough to do with Tyler and Adai, except when, you know, but we were able to do it against Wisconsin because of their lineup. But you know, there's other ways to try to do some things to, you know, be able to play. If you want to play those 2 guys together, the other team's smaller. There's some things that we're working on.
After the game, I was a little bit surprised. Coach Gard mentioned Tyler by name when he talked about their early success shooting 3-pointers. I guess that he felt they were able to exploit him. How big of a problem has been particularly his ball screen defense and?
I mean, Tunji was the guy making them. Tyler wasn't guarding him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he meant our early success, because Tyler made a few early. Maybe he meant that. Not sure. But yeah, Tunji was the guy who made 5 for 5 in the first half. Tyler wasn't guarding him.
Yeah.
You know, look, in regards to Wisconsin, they're ranked 9th in the country in offense. And they're this late in the year, when you're ranked 9th in the country in offense, you're a legitimate offensive team. And they had a great night shooting the ball. I watched them at home against Ohio State win by 2 or 3, and they went like 4 for 24 or something. So,
Yeah.
something like that. So, you know, a lot of this stuff, guys, goes to the game. When you make shots, changes the world. And you continue, like our loss at Nebraska. I mean, we're missing horse shots. Last night, USC wins at Nebraska. USC center hit 4 threes. Changes. Then you got to change your coverage. It changes. Then that Claude's in the lane. It changes a lot.
We've seen Dylan have a couple nice games in a row.
Yeah.
How much does
Huge. We're not going to win.
Yeah.
I keep telling you guys, like, you know, we're not going to win if guys don't perform. I mean, you're not. I mean, you know, especially in this league, there's so many good teams. You know, we were just meeting as a staff. You know, growing up, you thought of the Big Ten as a bang it up, smash it up, walk it up league.
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at how many Big Ten teams are averaging 75 or 80, 80 plus points a game. Times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got a lot of teams in this league averaging 80 something and up. I mean, it's a lot of them. So we got to be able to score.
We saw Dylan last year around this time take off and sustain it through the end of the year. What do you think was the key to that, and can we be could this be a repeat scenario here where he kind of sustains this the rest of the year and helps the team?
I hope so.
What do you think went into it a year ago that helped him?
I think it was different last year, in that he hadn't had a lot of playing time. And I'm sure that he got used to being out there longer. I think he's getting his confidence back this year.
Yeah.
Versus last year, I thought it took him a while to get some experience and be used to getting out there.
After the game, Sebastian was talking about how a lot of the guys have come from losing situations last year or whatever. They had been in losing situations in the past, but they're coming together to try and not make that happen here.
Yeah.
What are some of the winning habits you're teaching these guys, and how do you think they're picking those up?
Like Eric Daly and Tyler, for instance. They that's why they came here. They wanted to win. They both had great relationships with their coaching staffs where they were. Although Eric's got replaced, but they wanted to win. So it just takes time to build habits. It takes time. Defense is, defense, attention to detail, shot selection and taking care of the ball, rebounding. Like, those are the things that determine victory, not talent. I think that, I always say this, winners know why they win. Winners, they know why they win. Losers have no clue why they lose. Losers think that they lose because of talent. They blame their teammates. They blame their coach. They blame everything else. Winners know why they win. They're tougher than the other team. They're tough enough to take care of the ball on the road and and impose their will on the other team. They're tough enough to defend. They're able to follow a game plan, take away a team's strength. Like, they know that's what determines victory. Not hey, we had a good night shooting or we had a bad night shooting. So it takes time for guys to understand that.
How's Washington different than when you first played them?
I've never seen. I guess this is their 7th straight game against a team in the Ken Palm top 35 or something like that. That tells you about how our league. Davis went for, I guess, a couple weeks, their best shooter, where he had an ankle injury. Played a little against Oregon. I would assume he'll be back to full strength for us. Big Frank might play. So they could be back to full strength. Albeit without victory. They beat Maryland there. Tie game with Illinois with 40 seconds left. So Coach Sprinkle, regardless of what's been going on the scoreboard at the end of their games, their defense and their spirit is impressive. That's not an easy thing. When you're not getting the result you want on the scoreboard, but they've gotten much better again. None of them were on their team last year, so I think defensively they're much better. I think Osabor's made the adjustment. He's playing better. That's a big piece of it. And Will Braden Ball's making shots. For them, they need somebody to make some shots. But I think what stands out to me is how hard they've been playing. They led the first 30 plus minutes against Oregon at Oregon the night we played.
Yeah.
They led that game on the road for a long time. So they don't give in. They play unbelievably hard. They're athletic. They got some size, and we all know Osabor's a heck of a player. If they make some shots, they're dangerous. They're really well coached.
You think your guys have the maturity, focus, and intensity needed to go into a game like this with the right mindset instead of looking at, hey, Washington's 1-7, we got this?
Yeah, well, that is that's why they pay me. And at the end of the day, that's what, you got to be able to get your team ready to play on game night. And so it's easy to have them fired up to play somebody that everybody's around them is excited about and talking to them about. The challenge is to make sure they're ready to play every night. And I think to trap people from, well, they weren't ready to play, or like when Maryland lost there, or Illinois wins, they score late to win. It's not because their teams weren't ready to play. Look, you can play well and lose. It's not like they're getting blown out at home, especially at home. They're a much better team. You can play well. I keep saying it to you now, man. You can play well in this league and lose. And you play really hard. You try really hard, and you got to get the ball in the basket. Got to have some guys step up and perform. Which we won a game with offense the other night.
I was going to say, that was the first time you had won a game, given up that many points.
It's unbelievable.
In regulation in your 6 years.
Yeah. Maybe in my career.
I'll have to go look at that.
Maybe.
Okay.
No, I'm being dead serious.
No.
And maybe, how many teams give up 15 made threes and win? I don't know. I don't know if that ever happens.
So is that encouraging that you talk about bringing a team
Yeah.
and dance to every dance, right?
You got to
That
be
was
able
a
to win in different
dance.
ways.
Yeah.
Got to be able to win in different ways. Can't be relying on one or two guys, or especially on one guy. Got to have different answers. That being said, we better get better defensively.
You talked about wanting to get better in the press, the full court press a little bit. I mean, I don't know if it's full court, just applying pressure. And
Yes.
what's it going to take to do that?
I would say this, it's a mindset. It's a mindset and you can't be good at anything. I've said this in here unless you're really into it. Like St. John's is losing last night by double figures to Xavier at home. Well, their mindset, we have to press and deny everything, or we're going to lose. So they're all in on the press. It's unbelievable. They come back and win the game. Pressing takes effort and energy. It's got to be a mindset that your players believe in it. They're going to use it as a weapon. So it's hard to be really good at everything. So we've really been trying to struggle to score for a while. So we've been trying to get better offensively. So it's just areas you got to keep working on. It takes effort and energy, but your guys they got to want to do it. If they're up there because you're making them do it, it's a bought-in thing. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
You got it.